broker and helping people. I've helped with transactions actually all over our country, from Alaska and Hawaii all the way over to Florida, and everywhere just about in between. Love what I do, love helping people. I'm a dad and a husband, and got some furry kids as well around the house. But like I mentioned, I really love diving into the mortgages and helping people obtain greater wealth in their life. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Real quick, Ian, what markets are you in?
So I'm actually located in Texas, but I work in Washington, Arizona, California, Idaho, Colorado. Gosh, I mean, and I may be bringing on a new partner here shortly that's going to open up the opportunity for me to lend in all 50 states. So just by like keeping that open for when the time is right. But I can usually help somebody in just about any state find a loan that fits for them.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And then we also have Michelle here online with us.
Hey, Alex, thanks for having me on today. My name is Michelle. I'm with Client Direct Mortgage. We're a brokerage. I service New Jersey, Georgia, Florida, but the company we service 33 states. I love helping people. Besides doing mortgages, I love boxing, and I'm here to help answer any questions you may have today.
Awesome. So the hot topic of the day, everyone's talking about it, rates, mortgage rates. Michelle, I'm going to get your insight on this first, and then we'll ask Ian the same question. What is your perspective? What are your thoughts on today's rates? And is it something that you feel is easier for people to get loans or harder for people to get loans based on the circumstances? Go ahead and unmute that. If you hit the unmute button, you can.
Hey, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. It was getting a little broken up.
Oh, I'm sorry. What are your thoughts on today's rates? Do you feel they're going to stay high at the 8%-ish marker, or do you think they'll go down anytime soon?
I mean, we may see them here. Right. We may see them here for a little while, and hopefully, in the future, we'll see them drop. But at the current time, this is what, we're dealing with, and hopefully we can look forward to rates dropping, within the next year or a little bit more. So, we're just going with that right now. The rates are high, but we can work around that with different programs available now and try to get you into something that, fits your goals and your overall picture. And we have different things being updated in the next month that are going to help people be able to, achieve different goals that they may have had before that they weren't able to.
And you hit it right on the marker, because I wanted to discuss programs, because people are wondering, and the reason why I wanted to start with the rates being high, because that's what everyone's talking about. Let's start with the negative news first, but then the positives are programs. So with this, the high rates being what they are, lenders have gotten more creative with other programs available to consumers now that make it easier for them to purchase properties that they may have not been able to purchase before. I'll start with Ian on that, and then I'll pivot back to Michelle. Your thoughts on that, Ian?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before I jump into that, I think it's important to note that, when we look at the mortgage market as cycles, right? We look at the housing cycles that have happened over the years. And, this has happened every so often, where the Fed raises the rate up higher than the 10-year treasury, which has happened 4 other times in the past, like 30 years or so. And at each time when the Fed overreacts and raises interest rates, there's been followed by a time where interest rates come down again. And so we're nearing that point where we're close to or at the top of where interest rates are going to be. Now, before I talk about actual loan programs that are available, because there's so many out there. And in fact, if you've got a will to buy a house, you've got a little down payment, in some cases no down payment, and you can qualify, now is an amazing time to purchase. With rates being high, Alex, it wasn't long ago, if you remember, back to just 8 months, a year and a half ago, when people were flocking to open houses, they were paying over asking for, coming out of pocket $50,000 to $100,000 above the asking price for homes. And that created such a crazy environment that it pushed a lot of people out of the market. And when we look at the overall picture right now, a higher interest rate is the key to getting into a non-competitive market and being able to purchase a home where you're going to be able to achieve as a buyer concessions from the seller, which can do a lot of things to help you buy that rate down or buy that payment down in order to get it into a place where you've got budget. You know, it boggles my mind that people were willing to pay $50,000 to $100,000 over asking, but they're not willing to pay $1,000 or $1,500 more per month for a mortgage because of an interest rate. It seems a little backwards, but look, what I do know is that cycles happen and we are going to see rates come down. And if you're sitting on the fence right now thinking about purchasing a home or going, hey, rates are up, and you're looking at the news, which sells bad news. You know, that's what the news does, is they want to keep your eyeballs glued to the news. And the best way to do that is to tell you the negativity of what's going on. But there's an opportunity for those that are willing and daring to jump into a market, to have seller concessions pay for closing costs and pay for buy downs, and to help people get into homes that will benefit them. Because once we see interest rates drop down a point and a half, 2 points, right, we're going to see a whole flood of people come off the market again and homes start appreciating. Because look, the numbers are there. We still are at a point in the economy where there are not enough homes for, I mean, basically the Fed just slowed demand. By raising interest rates, they slowed the demand out there. But make no doubt about it that there are still not enough homes for the amount of people that need to buy homes. And when the rates drop a little bit, all those people are coming off the fence, and it's going to start creating that space again where there's multiple offers and people paying over asking and buying whatever happens out there. And so when we look at the market as a whole, it's important to kind of go, hey, what can we learn from the past? What does that mean to move forward? And you know, what I've heard very successful people say in the past is when people aren't buying, it's the time to buy, and when people are selling, is the time to, you know, when everyone's doing one thing, you want to do the opposite, right? Basically,
Noted.
That's
Noted.
that little bit in there. So I hope that's helpful. I'll let Michelle maybe talk about some programs out there. I think her and I have very similar programs, and I bet she's
Absolutely.
got some great.
Absolutely. And Michelle, you did mention it just right as we were starting about the 5%. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So the new 5% program that was released on the conventional side, it's going to come into effect November 18th. This is now going to allow you to put 5% down on a multi-unit. So this is going to create more buying options. And before, we had 2 units, which was currently 85%. And now it's going to be at 95%. And for 2 to 4 units, it was at 75%, and it's now going to be at 95%. So with this new program, it's for primary residents, right? So you have to move into one of the units. So it's for purchase only, okay? So what this is going to do is increase your chances to get into a property. You know, it's not saying that you shouldn't look at the FHA as well. It just really, it's dependent on the individual's overall pictures and goals, but a conventional offer is more attractive to many sellers, okay? So this is a great program. It's going to provide more access to buying right now. And again, it's for primary, right? So that means you have to live there for at least 1 year, rent out one of the units.
So what you're saying is I could hypothetically purchase a 4-unit apartment, and so long as I live in it for 1 year, I can rent it out the year after that and have 4 units being rented out?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's something that a lot of our listeners want to know about. And really quick, I want to give a shout out to some of our listeners right now. So is it Asha Kumar, Darius Wade, Dr. Leroy, I can't see the rest, Mr. Dr. Leroy, Franca Ikwa, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand. There we go. We got one right now. And let me go ahead and take this real quick from Shock here. Let me allow to speak. So if you guys can put your mics on mute, I'm going to have Shock here ask a question for us. Here we go. You're live. Go ahead and unmute your mic. Make sure your mic's not muted.
Looks like he's unmuted, Alex. I don't know if his mic may not be working.
Let me try something.
Hey, but while he's working on that,
Yep.
just to touch on what Michelle was saying, the big
Go
thing
ahead.
to know about, I mean, understanding, like, if for those of you out there that have not read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad yet by Robert Kiyosaki, it's understanding the difference between an asset and a liability. When what Michelle's talking about with this 5% down mortgage allows somebody to purchase a home and turn that home into an absolute asset because you're using OPM or other people's money to end up building your wealth and paying for your mortgage. Now, there's a few different ways you can use those multifamily homes as well. You can have long-term rentals in there, but also with the big Airbnb, craze going on, people are looking for affordable short-term rentals when they travel. And if you have a multifamily property somewhere in a great location where people travel, what a wonderful opportunity to have 3 Airbnb units that can really maximize the amount of earning while you live in the 4th one. And so if you've got a stomach for it, or perhaps you're a parent out there who's got kids that are going to college somewhere, like taking advantage of this opportunity to put 5% down on a multifamily that's a 2 to 4 unit property could really be a big benefit, not only teaching your kids how to start building wealth through real estate, but to teach them some management and some business acumen while they're in school. Something that I plan on doing for my kids when they're old enough. I mean, why have them, get a rental unit out there in an apartment when I can help them get a 4-unit property, have them live in one and start collecting rents from the other ones and start to teach them a little bit about building wealth and property acquisition. So I'll give it
I love
back to
it.
you, Alex.
I love it. And really quick, I think I got Mr. Kumar back on it. Are you live with us, Kumar, or no? Give us a mic check real quick, because I see your thing is going green, but I can't hear you. I don't hear anything. Okay, so sorry about that. We're going to move you to listening, but we'll go back really quick. I did some research earlier, and I wanted to look at what the rates or the rents rates were for some of the cities. I pulled up Seattle for a 4-bed, 2-bath. We're looking at anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 per month, all the way up to 8,000 per month. All right. In Atlanta, we're looking at like 2K to 4K per month for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, up to 6K per month. In Jersey, we're looking at like 5K to 10K per month for rent. Now we're talking rent, people. So the reason why I bring this up is because everyone else says, oh, the high rates, and with the high rates, what does that mean? Well, higher payments. Well, the payments are higher, but look at the rents that we're paying. Anyone want to elaborate on that? Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, yes. I mean, I think it's pretty accurate. And right now I'm dealing with a client looking to get a 4-unit, and just seeing those rates and seeing what it can do for him and his future. He's very excited about this opportunity. So I think it's a great thing to look into. It's giving people an opportunity right now that may not qualify for a single unit to use those rents and help them offset the mortgage and qualify for a property like this. So it's a great thing, and it's going to give you buying opportunity.
Awesome. And in the past, one of my favorite things to do is work with VA and working with vets. Can even Ian, I'll let you start, and then Michelle, I'll let you pivot afterwards. But can you tell us anything about the VA market, any kind of programs there?
Yeah, first off, I mean, thank you, veterans, for your service. VA loans are amazing loans that allow a veteran to purchase a home with 100% financing. For those veterans that are over 10% disabled, there's no VA funding fee. Loans up to $3 million with 0 down. That includes construction loans. There are certain states that have land loans for veterans. Like in Texas, there's the Veteran Land Bureau that has special loans for veterans that's 95% on raw land. But otherwise, VA loans are fantastic. Some things to note, though, is if you're using a VA loan to purchase like a manufactured home or a home that's on septic and well water, that those need to be inspected during the process, which is for your safety and also to protect the investor out there as well, to make sure that your wastewater isn't getting into your drinking water, which is something everybody should appreciate. But just note that sometimes there's little extra things that come along with some government loans. VA loans in particular can have some extra requirements, such as pest inspections or different things on there. But they're wonderful loans. It's a great way to help those who've served our country get into a home with 0 down. They're very lenient. They're more lenient, I should say, on the underwriting guidelines and allow for higher debt ratios and certain things. I actually have several veteran clients who have purchased homes, lived in them, and then moved and were able to reuse their VA benefits to move into something else and keep the home that they were in as a rental property. So utilizing your benefits out there, making sure if you're a veteran out there, thank you again for your service, but definitely get into home ownership using those benefits because it's a great thing to have on your side. So hope that's helpful.
Absolutely. And Michelle, how about yourself? Your experience with VA and your thoughts? I'm not sure if you heard me, Michelle. Go ahead and your thoughts about VA loans, your experience.
I don't particularly work with VA loans, but whatever.
Oh, I'm
Ian's-
sorry. Do you work FHA or let us know about what do you have in the background there?
Yeah, so I'm working with FHA conventional and some non-qualified mortgage loans right now.
Okay.
Hey, Alex.
Alex.
Something else to mention is USDA loans out there are amazing, and you can actually go onto the USDA website to find where punch in a home property address, and it will show you whether it's USDA qualified. So USDA loans are government loans that are 100% financeable. They have no mortgage insurance premiums. They do charge a USDA monthly fee, but it's significantly less than mortgage insurance. And if you
Awesome.
look on the maps, you can see how I mean, there's less land that is not USDA approved than there is land that's USDA approved. And so
Oh,
there are income limits and little things to note about USDA loans, but they are wonderful loans to get into as well with zero down. They also have multifamily and can do construction as well.
Awesome. And Michelle, so on the FHA side, and I appreciate that, Ian, and for everyone that's listening, so if you need any help with lending on the West Coast, make sure you reach out to Ian. Click on that Ian's info right there and make sure you contact him. If you're on the East Coast, make sure you reach out to Michelle. She'll answer any questions lending wise on the East Coast, and we can get you situated with anything you like. So, Michelle, as far as FHA, does that also work on the multifamily unit loans as well, or just for single family?
Yes, so with FHA, we can still do multi-units, just a different program, and it has different guidelines than the 5% down conventional. So like I said before, depending on your overall picture and seeing what you can qualify, it's always good to look at both sides. So it is something that you can do on the FHA side.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Now, with the rates going up, the prices are still going up in houses, not at a significant rate, but do you see the prices of homes still continuing to go up, or do you see it kind of going down? What are your thoughts on that, Ian?
It really depends on what part of the country you're looking in. There's certain areas that prices have come down. I mean, there is with less demand, sellers are having to make options or make concessions to buyers, which can be in terms of paying closing costs or lowering their price. Now, but that's not happening everywhere. In Austin, Texas, we still have multiple people showing up. In some parts of Seattle, I know there's multiple people coming to open houses and multiple offers on properties. If it's priced properly or the seller concessions are in the right place, there still are buyers out there. And so again, I just want to reiterate the fact that, look, if you're on the fence or you're thinking about buying, now is a better time to get into that non-competitive market or less competitive market to get you into a home, and you'll realize those appreciation gains later once these rates do start coming back down. Now, both Michelle and I have partnered with United Wholesale Mortgage out of Michigan, which is the nation's #1 lender. So they're the largest lender in the nation, right? And my last visit there, which I know Michelle's headed over there soon, they're ramping up. They are employing 500 to 1,000 more underwriters, closers, different people that are in there that fit different roles in funding loans and in loan operations. And what that's doing is that's creating, obviously they see something, they're gearing up for Q2 2024. So again, I want to state that if you're on the fence right now, there's a way, you want to find a way to buy the house, because once this market shifts, and it will, look, we're a resilient country. You can hear all the doom and gloom out there on the news and people saying you shouldn't get in here or go there, but let's look at the facts. We have the best country in the entire world. We are a resilient economy, we're resilient people, and we're always going to find ways to make things happen. And so again, now's a great time to get in there. Mark my words, if it comes Q2 and you're just starting your home search, you might be in for a ride where you've got multiple offers and you're competing with others out there in a time that you wouldn't have had to should you decide to purchase now or in Q1 2024.
Awesome. I love the energy. I love the positive outlook on that. I have Darius Wade with this. And Darius, do you have a question for our guest today?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
All right, perfect. So I recently have been trying to get more so into the investing side of real estate. So I do know that with the raising prices as well as with the raising interest rates, that does make your margin a lot smaller because now you're paying more for your mortgage and more for your overall cost to get into the property. But I know Michelle and Ian were both mentioning various programs that allow you to kind of get in to a property at a lower down payment initially. But of course, with us anticipating and hoping that interest rates get lower over time, getting in at a 3.5 FHA or getting in at a 5% conventional, how does that really work more so from the refinance standpoint? Of course, we want to make sure those margins are wider. So of course, if the interest rates get down to 5%, now I want to refinance into that situation. However, if I don't have that 20% equity built up, then now I'm forced to continue to pay higher prices until that point if I'm in a non-appreciative market.
Excellent question. Anybody want to grab it first, or shall I give it to Michelle? Go ahead, Michelle. Michelle, were you able to hear the question? Is your microphone on?
Hey Alex, you might have had something come up or not able to unmute herself. I
Got
can
it.
kind of jump in here. Great question, Darius. Here's what we're doing for people that are purchasing right now is we're letting them know that within, when rates do come down, we're offering no to low cost refinances. And that just means that even if you're at 5% down or 3.5% down, now the FHA loans with 3.5% down, the FHA offers what's called an FHA streamline refinance. So if the interest rate drops more than 0.5 percentage point, you can do an FHA streamline refinance with no appraisal, with no income qualification or anything along those lines. They're a quick way to just get into that new lower mortgage rate and mortgage payment without a lot of paperwork. Now, on the conventional side, they may require that if you're still at 95% loan to value, then they may require that you have another appraisal done to check out what's going on, especially if they're in a market that may be declining. But there still are opportunities to refinance. If you can qualify for a purchase with 5% down, you can qualify for the refinance with 5% down if your loan to value is at the same or even higher in some cases. So I can tell you that I see, obviously with the current economic conditions, there's going to be programs out there that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they've done this before in economies like this, where they come out with programs that are intended to give homeowners relief. And even investors on that side of it. If you're purchasing a 4-unit property and you're living in one of those units with a low monthly down payment or low down, there's going to be some programs that are going to come out. I mean, as we see the shift in the markets, the lenders are always trying to find ways to serve the markets and serve their borrowers to make sure that people continue to purchase and own homes. And so, but yes, refinancing is going to be the option. Remember, you might hear this often where they say, marry the home and date the rate, right? So you're just dating that rate. Obviously, if it becomes more advantageous for you with lower rates coming around to refinance, and Michelle or I will be giving you a call and saying, hey, let's get that lower rate payment for you. Let's knock this down and find a way. Now, something else to mention is that sellers with their concessions, if someone's purchasing one of these 4-unit properties to live in one of those units with FHA or conventional, you can do what they call as a temporary buy down. where the seller would actually pay to mitigate your monthly mortgage payments for 1 to 3 years, where let's say the rate is at 6.99%, the seller pays the temporary buy down for you. Your payment that first year might be at 3.99%, the second year at 4.99, the third year at 5.99. Now, if anytime the rates drop to a place where you want to lock that rate in permanently, whatever's left over in the escrow account would be credited back to you when you do a refinance. So the temporary buy downs are a wonderful product to help mitigate your payments and keep you into a lower spot where that investment on those other units may end up being still a plus strategy for you instead of a negative. So I hope that's helpful.
Awesome.
Yes,
And
it definitely was.
thank you very much for that question, Darius. That was a great question. And to another point, it's all about opportunity, right? So let's say there's a building, you see it's out there, you're like, oh man, you do have the opportunity to purchase it. The rates are high. You're like, do I want to pay these rates? But then you miss out on purchasing it because you want to wait. Well, in a year or 2 years, someone else is going to buy it and it's going to be valued at a higher valuation. So you could have had it a year ago, 2 years ago. It would have been worth way more because it's probably going to appreciate in value. If the rates go down, then the prices go up, right? So that's what we've seen in the past. That's what, most likely we're going to see in the future. So don't lose that opportunity. If there's an opportunity out there to get it. The lender says, hey, you qualify for the loan, get it, and then refinance later. That's my advice on that. Ashok Kumar, do you have your question ready? Your mic wasn't working before, but if you can ask it really quick, we only have 3 minutes left. Go ahead and shout out that question really quick, please. All right, buddy. I'm sorry, your mic's not working, so we're just gonna continue the show. If you have any questions, we have 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left in the show. Just raise your hands, and I'll pick on you, and then you can ask your question. Otherwise, go ahead if you want, Michelle. Do an outro and let the people know where to find you, where to locate you, your phone number, and then after you're done with that, Michelle, if Ian can do that as well. That way, people can locate you and contact you if they have any questions about getting a home or a loan.
Hi, can you hear me now? I think my mic wasn't working before.
There we go. Perfect. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah. You can contact me either by phone number. My phone number is 917-662-1235, or you can email me at michelle@clientdirectmtg.com. And I'd be glad to go over the details of the new program, the new 5% conventional program, and also give you details on the FHA program as well, so you can understand the differences. So I don't have a problem with that. So you can always reach out and talk to me about that. And otherwise, you can find me on Facebook, just my first and my last name. And that's my contact information. And thank you so much for having me on today.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today. And Ian, give us your last shout out.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much for having me out here, Alex. My name again is Ian Keber, I-A-N, last name K-E-B-E-R. You can reach out to me through LinkedIn if you'd like to. Go ahead and click on my picture and message me, or follow, or I don't know if we can connect through LinkedIn some way, shape, or form. You're welcome to do that. My phone number is area code 206-349-7446. Again, 206-349-7446. And my email is my first name, IAN, dot my last name, KEBER, at hometrustloans, that's loans with an S.com. And also available on Facebook or Instagram as well, even on TikTok. If you are out there and you want to reach out to me, go ahead and send me a private message and we can connect. So thanks for having me today, Alex.
All right, there you have it. We had Ian Keber, Michelle Rose, and I appreciate you guys for joining us today. And this is the Alex Medina Real Estate Show. Tune in next time. We're going to have more guests, more questions answered, and more fun. I appreciate everybody. Thanks for joining.